Hello, this is Dr. Mercola, and today I'm here with Charlie Brown, who's a tireless advocate for mercury-free dentistry. And about 15 years ago, he started the Consumers for Dental Choice. He's a former state's attorney and has a lot of experience in the politics, and he's applied that to the movement to remove mercury from dentistry, which is a powerful, because there's really no reason that mercury should ever be used in dentistry. It's anachronistic. It was developed in the 19th century, and this is the 21st century. There's far better choices. It's a very potent neurotoxin. It also causes reproductive problems in women, kidney problems and challenges. So there's just no way you want mercury in your mouth. Yet, about 50% of the people in the United States, and I imagine similar percentages in other developed countries in the world, have mercury fillings. So, you know, it's pervasive, and this process tends to hit the minority community more for a number of reasons which I'd like you to address. So why don't we discuss that now? Because, you know, this is a significant issue because it tends to hit the handicapped and the disabled and the people without the resources to really optimize their dental health.
Absolutely. People on these very limited dental insurance plans or on Medicaid often have no bargaining power with their dentist. And they're being told by the dentist, this is what I'm going to do. The dentist may not even tell them what they're going to do, just put in fillings. Dentists who treat their patients and those teeth like dollar signs. The disproportionate impact on the working American families, whether in Appalachia, where I'm from, whether in inner cities, African Americans, working families, white African American, Latino, Native Americans are much more likely to get a mercury filling. We salute leaders like Mayor Miguel Pulido of Santa Ana, a Latino leader in California, who has issued a proclamation saying we've got to get rid of amalgam, joining his colleague, Mayor Gary Monahan, Republican. Mayor Pulido's a Democrat, saying who led his city of Costa Mesa to call for the immediate end of amalgam. So the pressure put on, economic pressure and pressure from the dentist to get the child in the chair and out of the chair so the dentist can make more money per chair per day, leads to amalgam. It's unscrupulous dentistry, and it's terribly unfair to these families. Now, Dr. Mercola, one group that is particularly badly treated are children with disabilities. To the point in Pennsylvania where there was just an all-out battle in Philadelphia because we succeeded in getting a fact sheet law. So the parents were reading the fact sheets and saying, I don't want amalgam. Well, the dentists who serve children with disabilities were telling the parents, you will get the filling I decide, not you decide. And parents were forced to leave the offices or accept a mercury filling. These dentists were backed up by the Pennsylvania Dental Association. That's condemnable. It wasn't just condemned by us, it was condemned by the Pennsylvania Commission on Disabilities, who wrote a resolution condemning the Pennsylvania Dental Association for endorsing two-tiered dentistry. Choice for the able-bodied, no choice for children with disabilities. And it's contemptible that the American Dental Association stands with discrimination. The ADA, in fact, issued an apology recently for its history of racism. That appears to continue with their attitude that those who are disabled have no rights to mercury-free dentistry. And that's one of the battles that we're under, is to protect those who are less able to fend for themselves in this economic society.
And part of the reason why this process perpetuates or persists is the economics of it, and then just pure tradition. For the vast majority of the 50% of dentists who still use mercury, 50% don't, largely because of the efforts you've catalyzed in educating dentists and motivating them to remove it from their practice, so that's a major victory. 50% of people don't use 50%, but 75% of the general population is unaware that mercury is in amalgam fillings. So it's a huge educational gap.
And it's a huge taxpayer ripoff, Dr. Mercola, because the dentists still using mercury are putting all this mercury into the environment, both what they dump from their offices without separators and the part that walks out of the office and goes into the environment. If those dentists had to pay for the environmental disaster that they are causing in this country, the price of amalgam would be way through the roof. It would be 4 or 5 times at least what the composite costs, 10 times what the and I'm selecting numbers here, what the ART, the low cost, the atraumatic restorative treatment would cost.
With the glass ionomers.
With the glass ionomers. So these dentists are being subsidized by the water ratepayers and the taxpayers of America, the dentists who still use mercury filling. So it's pretty contemptible that they would basically dump this mercury, not pay for it, and hand the bill to the rest of us.
So they are allowed to essentially exclude the environmental impacts, which keeps it relatively low. But even so, there is this tradition to continue, and also the fact that it's easier to implement, so that it's more cost beneficial for them, and they actually make more money when they use a mercury filling as opposed to using the alternative. And is that part of the reason why they continue to pursue?
That is the reason.
Yeah.
They make more money per chair per day. There's another reason. You carve out good tooth matter when you use a mercury filling. More tooth matter to create a bowl so you can dump the mercury mixture into a bowl. Composite doesn't remove nearly as much tooth matter. A traumatic restorative technique even less. So when you destroy good tooth matter, it's going to lead to future problems. So for mercury fillings is the gift that keeps on giving to American dentistry. They not only make more money that day per chair per day, but they also will cause future problems. It will cause the person as an adult to return for the root canal or other treatment. So amalgam there's a method in the madness of the American Dental Association in maximizing the income of its dentists, and certainly having no interest at all in the welfare of this society.
And there's another benefit that basically they're not aware of, and that is to the medical profession, because using all this mercury is certainly going to contribute to medical illnesses, complications down the road. So that it's going to, even though they don't benefit directly, they're certainly going to provide additional medical costs to the individuals who have the mercury.
Riding shotgun for the dentists is the American Medical Association, no doubt, and even more probably the American Psychiatric Association. So rather than address mental illness and say, well, maybe this is due to toxins in your body, the psychiatrist just wants to give more medication. Rather than deal with holistic treatment, as you stress, Dr. Mercola, in your practice and in your newsletter, the physician wants to deal with a specific problem and again not remove the toxins. So the doctors have blinders on. It's said that in 1811, physicians were much more likely to diagnose mercury toxicity than they are in 2011. I mean, diagnosing mercury toxicity doesn't make much money for you if you're a physician. Surgery makes you a lot more money. Mm-hmm. Or giving regular, prescription medication makes you a lot more money than telling somebody maybe you should get your amalgam safely removed. Maybe you have toxins of other types in your body. Maybe your diet is a bad choice. Maybe your lifestyle is a bad choice. That is not compensable in the same way when you have an allopathic system, fee for service, and money from every little part of the body.
Yeah, it's a sad commentary on these individuals who are really based in fear, and once they understand the truth, they're unwilling to share that with the people they're taking care of for fear of losing business, when the reality is, the simple truth is, once they start teaching the true principles of how to stay healthy, they'll actually have more business, because people will appreciate that, and it's human nature, they're always going to have challenges that they need consultations for, so they're not going to have any less business at all. They'll just be doing better things for people that will keep them healthier.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So
in the long run, it is so much better for a physician to do the proactive and preventive approach, and frankly to stand up and say the dentist was wrong if the dentist didn't tell you this, because if he's not telling you, I'm going to tell you.
Absolutely. So just to summarize this, the key here is to eat a healthy diet. Stay away from sugar. It's probably one of the most pernicious habits you can have that will contribute to tooth decay, even though the dental associations won't tell you that, because they're receiving or have received loads of money, millions of dollars from the sugar industries and companies like Coca-Cola and such.
Yes.
So that's the first step. So you don't have dental decay, because if you don't have dental decay, it's a non-issue. But obviously that's not the case. So if you currently have had dental decay and you have these mercury fillings, let me caution you, let me warn you, plead, implore, do not see a regular dentist to have those mercury fillings removed, because it will cause more damage. You're going to go jump from the frying pan into the fire, as Dr. Huggins is fond of saying. who's a mercury-free dentist and
great one.
pioneer in this field. So you got to see a biological dentist, and we'll have resources on how you can find one, but only see someone who's specifically trained to remove it safely, so you don't put more mercury into the system. So that's what you do if you have mercury fillings. If you don't have any, or you have dental decay, don't see a dentist who puts mercury in anyone, not just you, but anyone in his office. You want to go to a mercury-free dentist. 50% of the dentists don't use mercury, so you have a wide variety of choices. Preferably see a biological dentist because he'll be a little more holistic and understand some better options for you. But those are simple things you can do, and then participate. Help Charlie's organization if you can, Consumers for Dental Choice. It's a phenomenally great cause to help facilitate, catalyze the elimination of mercury in dentistry worldwide, because he's not just doing this in the U.S., he's leading an international effort to eliminate mercury from the entire planet in the dental profession, because there's no reason for it. There's just absolutely no reason to ever use mercury in dentistry, none. There's just zero justification.
Right. Dr. Mercola, in October, our world team, our world organization, World Alliance for Mercury-Free Dentistry, will go to Nairobi, Kenya, and work with the nations of the world who are negotiating a treaty to end the use of mercury amalgam. We have a team from 5 different continents. We, of course, need to raise the money. We're the Americans, we're the leaders, and for those in the developing countries to get there. We hope you'll help with that. Again, in June, we will convene in Montevideo, Uruguay, for a 4th. We've had 2. Nairobi's 3rd, Montevideo is 4th, for a 4th session of the nations, again working on a treaty to address all forms of mercury. We lead the effort to get amalgam into the treaty. It is in the first draft of the treaty. We want to keep it in. A year later will be the 5th and final convening of the nations from all over the world, all the nations, all the major and minor nations, in early 2013, and the agreement, which will be signed in 2013 in Minamata, Japan. It will be a world treaty on mercury. It will have an effect, as Native Americans talk about, on the 7th generation that comes so much after us. Those with children, those without children, we all need to think of the 7th generation. This treaty can have a major impact if it includes amalgam. And our cause is to get amalgam into the treaty, get a world phase out of mercury fillings, as well as a world phase out of all other man-made uses of mercury.
Well, thank you for your tireless efforts, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.